Welcome to Real Estate Real Talk with me, Skyleigh. I'm a realtor, coach, and founder of Forever Kamloops and Forever Florida Real Estate Groups and the creator of Elevation Real Estate, the realtor coaching platform. After nearly a decade in this industry, I've built a business that gives me more freedom, more income, and more time with the people I love. And now I'm here to help other realtors do the same. This podcast is for agents who want to build a thriving real estate business without burning out. We talk about scaling smart and building systems so you can buy back your life, because life shouldn't feel like all work and no play. And if you're a buyer or seller tuning in, consider this your backstage pass. You'll hear unfiltered conversations with top agents and industry pros, giving you the same insights we share behind closed doors. Knowledge is power, and the more you know, the better you can advocate for yourself and work with someone who truly has your back. Let's get real. Hey, Brad, welcome to the podcast, Real Estate Real Talk. This is going to be a really great conversation, and I'm so happy that you're here. You are a national and international speaker, trainer, and business coach for over 40 years. I can't believe how many people you have actually spoken in front of and coached. It's like wildly impressive when I was reading your bio. Very cool. And best-selling author, just so many fun things you've accomplished. And now you are helping people build wealth by investing in land, which is also really cool. And not many people do that. So thank you for coming on the podcast today.
My pleasure.
I'm excited for this conversation. I feel like it's a really big learning opportunity for people. And for me, I think that I had mentioned to you that I'm like, I don't know anything about this. And I love learning and absorbing. So you are my mentor today. And I appreciate you for that.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So tell me, why did you switch from, why did you decide to get into investing in land? Like, I see there's like a transition in your career, but I'm like, why did this happen? What kind of brought you to do that?
Well, I do a quarterly, I've been married for 33 years, and I do a quarterly net worth statement. I've done it since pretty much the day that I met my wife. And on December 31st, 2011, which is many years ago, 14 years ago now, I looked at the numbers and I realized my wife could retire by herself with her 401k, together with my little meager retirement fund and her great big giant one. We could retire together. But if I was single at that point in my life, I did not have enough money to retire. So I called my land banking friend. Her name is Marcella Silva. She came to our house in January of 2012. Did her presentation at the kitchen table, just like a real estate agent would do a listing presentation to try to get the house to sell. And at the end, my wife said, nope, not interested. Don't like dirt. Don't want to wait 7 to 10 years. I like my 401k. She walked out of the room. I said, Marcella, the only way I'm going to build wealth is by investing in land. Here's how much I have. Find me a piece of land. 2 months later, I bought my first property. A year later, I got another. A year later, I got a third. Now I'm going to see Marcella at a hotel. You know how these speakers, they rent a room in a hotel. They invite investors to bring their potential investing friends to meet Marcella about land banking. My wife says, I want to go. I said, why? You don't want a land bank? You've heard Marcella? No, but I've been watching you for 3 years. You seem to be pretty into it. You've referred a ton of business to Marcella. You've made tens of thousands of dollars in referral fees. Yeah. Maybe I missed something, but I'm not going to buy. Skyleigh, the whole way in the car, she's going, I'm not going to buy. I just want to hear what Marcella has to say. Okay, great. We drive, we get there. We listen to the 2-hour presentation. It's over. And Marcella says, we're going to take a break. And after the break, I have 4 properties today that I have available for sale for anybody in the room that's an investor that would like to add to their portfolio. And I said, okay, sweetie, let's go to the gym. We got our gym bags in the car. She says, no, I want to see the properties. You told me you didn't want to buy. Why do you want it? Okay, fine. Happy wife, happy life. She wants to stay. I sit down. Long story, very short. She buys 2 out of the 4 properties right there in the hotel room. Yes, I could. She had her checkbook with her. This was like she planned it. I'm not going to buy, but she bought. The whole way home in the car, I'm going, you're not going to buy? I thought you said you weren't going to buy. You bought 2. She said, shut up. I got it. I understand it now. And so that was properties 4 and 5. And now we own actually 12. So that was how I got into land.
I love that. Yeah, it's amazing. And it's just funny because I bet if you ask her now, when she even bought that one, she's, oh,
when was the best time to get into it would have been like yesterday, or like when you bought your first one.
Exactly.
That's always the way that it is. I should have done this yesterday.
Yep. Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda. So, what is the difference between land banking then and just like regular traditional real estate investing? Because I don't know if I fully understand this
Yeah.
either. So,
It's a great question. 99% of the people I speak to, when I tell them, they say, Brad, what do you do? I sell dirt. They go, oh, you sell dirt? What do you mean? I'm a land banking consultant. And they go, land banking? What's that? So join the 99%. Very few people have heard of land banking. So the way we define it is it's buying vacant, pre-developed land, basically nothing on it, in the path. We stay strategically in the path of growth, holding and then selling that land to a developer who wants to build a big project, like 1,000-acre solar farm, a Amazon distribution warehouse, and they need 500 acres or 1,000 acres, and you own one little parcel of 2 acres or 2.5 acres, but it's right in the middle of their project, and you're stopping the project from moving forward. That's the basic principle. Buy land when it's cheap, hold it. We're very conservative. We tell people 7 to 10 years is an average hold period. And then you sell to the developer for 3 to 7x return. 3 to 7 times your investment is what we expect you to get back in return.
very cool. I actually ran into a woman a number of years ago because I'm here in Canada. And so I met somebody who did something similar, and she didn't have the terminology or anything for it, but she had said this same thing where she was like, yeah, I'm just buying land on the outskirts of these towns because eventually they will develop out that way. And while
Correct.
it's dirt, it's super, super cheap right now because there's no development there. As it starts getting closer and closer, now all of a sudden the land that she has is worth quite a bit more money. And she said that she'd been doing it for 20, 25 years, and she'll just buy and hold for a long time. But
Yep.
I like that it is not something that you actively have to manage, which is
We call it lazy
something
person's
that,
investing.
yeah.
Yes, you
Oh
don't.
my gosh. So is there someone specific that it's suited for then? Or is it just that not many people know about this? Or is there a specific type of person that you're like, this would be perfect for you?
All of the above. Not a lot of people know about it. It is only for certain people. It's patient investors. I've used that term many times. If somebody gets on the phone with me and says, so Brad, I need money right away. Great. Bye. Have a nice day. Brad, I'm not a really patient person. 7 to 10 years. I got to wait that. This is not for you. And I turn people away if it's not for them.
Yeah.
If they don't have an investor's mindset, if they're not willing to buy and hold for it could be up to a decade or more, then this is not the right investment. So it is not for everybody. It's for patient investors who have money that they don't need, don't in the foreseeable future see that they will need it. If you're sending your kids to college and you're going to need this money to pay, even if their college is 7, 8, 10 years away, don't use this money because it's not liquid. You can't get it back very easily. So we do a lot of screening, Skyleigh. We actually have a form that we fill out. It's called a prospect profile. And we've got to get all these answers to these questions. Then I go to my business partner, Marcella, and we talk about this person. We look them up on Facebook. We look them up on LinkedIn. We do we don't do a formal background check on them, but we pretty exhaustively look at, are they the right kind of person for this kind of investment? And are they the kind of person we want to be involved with? Because we could be in business for a decade or more. So it was, yes, all of your questions.
Yeah, totally. And I appreciate that about you because I think that there's so many people out there that would be like, yep, I'll sell it to you, no problem. But then the issue is that relationship is going to be very painful and hard if you ended up helping somebody acquire this land that might need a turnaround super fast, and they're not going to be able to sell it again quickly. And it's just, yeah, I feel like ethically it makes so much sense to really dive in and be like, hey, you do realize this is going to be a long haul game and not like a quick turnaround. So yeah, I really appreciate that you said that.
Well, thank you.
For the land, I am curious to know, because I do have people asking about this where they're like, how do we like find and source the land? Because I imagine that there's probably quite a bit of land out there that people would sell if someone came like knocking on their door. But how do you get a hold of these people? And how do you know like what land would be available to purchase and not if it's not actually advertised for sale?
So we have a research and acquisition department. Our company is privately held. It's now being run by the son of the founder. He and his daughter now run the company. They've been around for over 45 years, and this is all they do. And they have a research and acquisition department, and all they do, in fact, while you and I are speaking right now, what they do is they go out and they try to find undervalued land, very inexpensive land that they know is in the path of growth. By the way, they have a checklist. It's called the 16-point comprehensive analysis checklist. It has 16 criteria on it. And if the land that they're looking at doesn't get a yes check mark for all 16, we don't buy it. In fact, they only buy 1 out of every 30 properties that they look at. So you can imagine it takes a while to find that 1 out of 30. You got to go through 29 and then maybe the 30. Oh, I finally found one. And a lot of times we'll buy them from, I asked the CEO this one time, I said, what kind of person do you look for to buy it from? They said, divorcing couples. Grandma bought the land 15, 20 years ago for $5,000. When they divorce, California is a community property state, so they own it 50-50. So either one of them has to buy out the other or they have to sell it. They usually don't have the money because they're getting divorced and they're paying their lawyer and all that stuff. So they don't have the money to buy out the other person. So they want to get rid of it quickly. And then they split the money. So we get it for them for a very attractive price. And then we price it appropriately for our investor with some built-in equity, but still enough. The difference between what we buy it for and what we sell it to the investor, obviously there's a little gap, and that's the money that the company runs on. It's the cash flow that we pay all those people that are finding the land and give the owner a profit and all that. So that's how we find the land and then eventually sell it to the investors.
Got it. Yeah, it's a lot of work to go source and find and have these conversations with people. It's a little bit different for you guys in the States than it is here in Canada. We don't have access to like databases of contacts, but I know that wholesaling in the States is massive and people are on the phone calling, trying to see these divorce sales or pre-foreclosures and they can, but it's a long conversation and trying to figure out how you can creatively make things work. So it's a smart structure that you guys have where you have the spread in between so that everybody wins.
Yeah. It's due diligence in any investment, not just real estate, but any investment, stocks, bonds, mutual fund, whatever you're buying. You got to do your due diligence. We do that for people because they don't have the time or the expertise or the databases. We've got 45 years of experience in locating these properties. Our company also, we go to city council meetings. We read the general plan, and we only invest in a 60-mile radius around downtown LA. We don't do this all over the U.S. The U.S. is just too big. There's too many pockets where there are these places where land banking will work. There's lots of places where land banking won't work. An already developed place, or maybe you think the city's going to grow to the east, and then the city council says, no, we're going to grow to the west. We go to the city council meetings. We hear all this information firsthand. We listen to the mayor and we listen to the planning commission, and we follow all of that information to see where is the progress, where is the money going. If you watch and see the city council, we have an example in Lancaster and Palmdale. City council several years ago appropriated $180 million to widen 5 of the off-ramps on this major road that runs through the 2 towns. Now you got to ask yourself, why would the city council spend its own money to widen the off-ramps and make them more accessible? Maybe because they know a lot of development is going to take place at those 5 interchanges, those 5 exits and entrances to the freeway. So we started looking at land at the 4 corners. You know how they usually put the 4 gas stations on the corners where the exits are. And we bought up land
Yeah.
in those areas. And needless to say, our investors are doing very well selling that land to developers who are building projects right where all that $180 million went. So that's just one example of being knowledgeable and knowing what to look for and how to look for it.
Yeah, you kind of have the projection based off of what the city is doing, and that, yeah, that's actually paying attention to that kind of stuff is huge. And I don't think most people think to pay attention. It's almost like insider trading. By the time that like you guys having the information and sitting there and paying attention, you're like, oh, we know something that's going to be happening.
I'm glad you said that. We call it legal insider information. It's
Yeah, 100%.
available.
You're like, no, we're just smart and paying attention here. Like,
it's available to anybody, but who's got the time to do that kind of research, to go to city council meetings, to read general plans? They're like an inch thick with all this stuff. We have a whole staff that does that. And so we can do a lot of that due diligence for our investors.
So that brings me to my next question then, because this is the acquiring kind of stage of it. But then when it does come to actually selling it off to a developer, I'm assuming that then you guys would have a database of developers and people to be in connection with, or how do you connect?
Great
There's all
question.
types of, yeah, like how do we find the developer to actually buy it now after?
It's a great question. And the answer is you don't look for the developers. I'll give you a real life example. I have a guy, an investor. He has 2 properties. He bought it about 3 years ago. He lives in Thailand, actually. He's a US citizen, but he works in Thailand. And 2 weeks ago, he got an offer for one of his properties and immediately emailed me and said, Brad, you told me not to respond, not to say anything to them. What do I do? So we told him what to do. We call it free negotiation coaching. And he literally said to me, when I bought this land and I waited a couple of years and I wasn't quite sure, I was really doubtful. And now it's happening exactly the way you said it would. They made me an offer. We told him to basically say, no, thanks. And then what to do next. And he's now in that process. So we help our investors for free get them into that 3 to 7x. Remember, I said 3 to 7x. He's at 2x right now. He's got a ways to go before they start offering him more. But they found him. The developer found him, not the other way around. He even emailed me like after a year. He said, should I hire a real estate agent and put a for sale sign? I said, no, absolutely not. I told you 7 to 10 years, sit on your rear end and wait. And he did. Thank goodness he listened. And now it's unfolding exactly as it has for thousands of our other customers. You just have to be patient and do nothing and just wait.
Yeah, you don't really want them to know that you're wanting to sell it, because otherwise they'll think that they have more leverage than they do. So
they'll lowball if they know you need to get rid of it. So you're going to play.
Yeah, especially from a developer. If a developer wants a chunk of land, they will find a way to get a hold of you. And then
they just go to the county records. They know the APN, the assessor parcel number. They look it up. They see who bought it. And they even know how much you paid for it. It's not hidden stuff. They know exactly what my client paid for the land. So now our job is to get them to see that land is worth way more than what our client paid it for. We know they need it because we know what project they're building. That's one of the things we ask the investor to ask them. Who's the developer? What are they building? When are they breaking ground? Oh, it's a shopping center. What's the name of the shopping center? How many acres is it? What are they building there? Blah, 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 blah. We're getting legal insider information. By the way, our investor tells our company, we now know, wow, they're building this giant shopping center. Let's go look for land around there because probably that's going to become more valuable pretty soon. Right now, it's pretty cheap. Let's see what we can find. So people say, why do you do this for free? Because we get a lot of information that we use for the future. Also, I'm not going to be shy about this. We want our investor to reinvest some of their money back with us and buy more land. Hopefully a higher price than the one that they just bought, because now they got all this cash. So we're not
Yeah.
stupid. We're not totally altruistic. We're a smart business company. We want referrals. We want goodwill, and we want our clients to do really well. When they do well, they're going to tell their friends. His friends are going to
Yeah.
ask him, so Bob, that's not his real name. Bob, what are you up to? Oh, I just sold some land. I sold some dirt. Really? Did you make any money? Oh yeah, I tripled my money. I went from 160,000 to $500,000. Oh my God, I want to do that. Who do I call? You call Brad Warren. You email Brad Warren. He'll help you out. He's my land banker. So we get referrals, we get free information, and we get goodwill, and hopefully we get that person to reinvest.
That's like the best way to do business, isn't it? Though, making sure that everybody just has a wildly good experience, because then they go tell everyone. Like, it's just, I don't understand. There's some people in business that are just so short-sighted on like the transaction today. Like I said, they'll take your money. It doesn't matter if you want it back tomorrow or if it is a long haul investment. There's some people out there that would take it, and I'm like, yeah, but then you're gonna lose the opportunity for you to double your client base by doing that. Like, you're just no. So
in my opinion, Skyleigh, those people aren't in business for very long. They have
won't be. No.
short-sighted, me only, make a lot of money today. They may make a bunch of money, but I'll tell you, the law of karma is here. It's intact. It's working. What goes around comes around. They screw somebody,
really
they will
does.
get screwed in return. It's pretty much happens to everybody on the planet. So be careful out there, folks. Be careful.
Yeah. There was a podcast that I was listening to recently, and it actually said that there's a lot of people who make it seem like sales, you're doing it to them. And but we need to rewire our brains, because the people who are really good at sales and are really good in business are the people who are doing it for them. And I'm like, that's absolutely brilliant. I'm like, 100%. The people who have been around for a long time usually do it for people, not to them.
Correct.
So
100% agreement with you.
Question for you then, can you finance the land, or are you having to pay cash and stuff?
You're asking great questions. I love it. So we don't want people to finance it. Like, one guy asked me, should he take out a HELOC? I said, absolutely not. Because all that interest that you're paying, let's say it takes 10 years. That's a lot of interest on a loan over the course of 10 years. And so it's going to diminish your return. So what I've seen, my clients, my investors, cash, retirement funds, and it has to be a self-directed IRA. Now, are you familiar with that at all? Have you talked about that on any of your shows prior to now?
No, but I know you're talking about, someone's
a retirement fund.
Like retirement portfolio, right? Yeah.
An IRA, an individual retirement account. There's regular ones, and then there are self-directed ones. Self-directed IRAs are allowed to invest in real estate. Traditional IRAs are not. So it has to be self-directed. Okay. And then there's the self-directed IRA, and there's the self-directed Roth IRA. Now, are you familiar with the difference? I know Canadians don't know this about the U.S. Okay.
Yeah, our stuff is a little bit different than yours, so I'm just going to let you explain.
You have RRSPs or RRSPs? Is that what they are?
Ours are RSPs, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, a regular IRA, your gain is tax deferred, meaning eventually you'll pay the tax when you sell that, whatever it is, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, coins, whatever, cars, collectibles. A Roth IRA is tax free. Now, again, I'm not giving financial advice. I could lose my real estate license. I'm just telling people what I know, but go to your CPA, your certified public accountant, or whatever you use in Canada, talk to them. I don't think you have this in your country, but out of the 12 properties that my wife and I own, 10 are in a Roth, which means when we sell that land, and we bought it here and we sell it way up here to the developer, all of that gain is tax free. We don't pay a nickel to either Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, or, well, in this case, it would be Uncle Sam or Donald Trump or whoever you want to call it. Let's just say Uncle Sam, the federal government. we pay no tax, federal or state, on that gain in our Roth. So if you can set that up, that's how you want to do it.
Land with your Roth in the States is what you're saying. This is
And
insane.
again, this is not financial advice. I'm just telling people what I've done. Buy land.
This is just
we buy land in your
We're
Roth.
not advising it.
Yeah, it's the best way to keep most of the money for yourself.
The amount of
wait. Scott, there was so I said cash, retirement accounts, and something called a 1031 exchange. Now, again, Canadians don't have that, but in the US, it's where you take, it's called real estate to real estate. So you own real estate. Let's say you bought a piece of property, you bought a single family residence for $100,000. In 3 years, you want to sell it for $300,000 and buy a duplex, like a 2-unit. Okay. Ordinarily, if you just sold it for the 300, you would owe the difference from the 100,000 you paid to the 300. You would owe tax on the capital gains tax on the $200,000 increase. If you do a 1031 exchange, you buy a $300,000 duplex and you do not pay the tax yet. You're still going to owe the tax, but you don't pay it. So it's called deferred to the future.
I was going to say, I've heard that you can defer your capital gains in the States, and that you don't even have to buy right away. From what I understand, you can actually have the lawyer hold it in a trust account, but it's only for what is it?
That's beyond that is a lawyer legal question beyond our conversation.
Just the opportunities you guys have is just
it's amazing. So now you own a $300,000 duplex, and let's say another 3 years goes by, and somebody offers you $1 million, and see, somebody's calling me to buy land right now. They offer you $1 million. And now you decide, you know what? I don't want to 1031 exchange it. I don't want to be in the landlord business anymore. I'll take the $1 million. Now you owe Uncle Sam the difference from the 100,000 that you originally started at all the way to the $1 million, which means now you owe the tax on the $900,000. But guess what? You've got it to pay it because you got $900,000 in your hand. So you pay the tax and then the rest of the money is yours. But some people will defer ad infinitum. They'll take the $1 million and they'll buy a 10-unit apartment. They'll put $1 million. Let's say they buy $1 million with cash. They'll buy $1 million 8-unit apartment building, a small, let's say 5-unit apartment building. They'll buy it for the $1 million, defer the tax again. They'll collect the rent from all those people for you. They'll have positive cash flow because they paid it in full. They have no mortgage, and they'll never sell, which means they have continuous cash flow, and then they will it to their kids, and then the kids get the cash flow, and they never sell. They never pay the tax. Maybe in 20 or 30 years down the road, when the building is now worth $5 million, the kids say, we don't want to collect rents anymore. We're tired of doing that. We want the $5 million. So then they sell. Then they're going to owe from the 100,000 to the 5 million, 4.9 million is what they're going to owe the tax on. But you can defer indefinitely, which the wealthy in this country, in our country, in the US, know that. And they use the 1031 as a way to not avoid the tax, just defer it to some future time, which could be never.
Which could be never. That is so cool. Yeah. I love fun, creative ways in order for people to build wealth. It's just, there's so many different opportunities, and the information is not always readily available. So yeah, I love this conversation, and I wish more people knew about it, because that's why you're speaking in front of people all the time. And you said you've done like 30 podcasts or something now, hey?
Yeah, I lost count. It's probably over 30 by now, but yeah, that's how I get the word out. COVID actually, and it's embarrassing to say this, but when COVID hit, it actually boosted my business. Instead of going out one-on-one to coffee meetings and lunch meetings and dinner meetings, having to buy food for people and put on a lot of weight, I started doing everything over Zoom. I started going to Zoom networking meetings, and I did conversations, and I have clients in Canada, Mexico, Thailand, Panama, Germany, I'm meeting people that I never would have met before. So everything I do now is over Zoom. People get a hold of me, they email me, we set up a Zoom, we talk, and then they watch a presentation. We educate first. You're not even allowed to buy land from us until you watch a 1-hour presentation on land banking, because our investors need to understand what is it that you're getting involved in when you invest with us. So first we're going to educate you. After they watch it, some people watch it and said, nah, this isn't for me. 7 to 10 years. Good. I just saved an hour and a half on doing a Zoom. I don't have to do the Zoom now. They're not going to invest. But the ones that call me back and go, OMG, oh my gosh, Brad. Yeah, I watched the whole thing. I took a lot of notes. I still have some more questions. Okay, great. We'll get on a Zoom and we'll talk. And then after we've talked and I filled out the prospect profile and I talked with Marcella, and she says, finally, she says, yes, that sounds like a person that understands what they're getting into, somebody that we want to be in business with. And then the three of us would meet, Marcella and me and them, on another Zoom. And then, and only then, are they allowed to invest with us. So it's a lengthy process. It's not just, bam, you got the money, sure, come over to my house, drop it off, and I'll get you some dirt. We take our time.
Yeah, it's almost like you're looking for like business partners as opposed to just like a one-off buying and selling. Like you're actually partnering with these people. And
well said. Very well said.
This is such good information, and I appreciate you coming and teaching me about it. Because like I said, I was like, I'm not sure. And there's so much that I just absorbed from all of that. And I know that the listeners are probably eager to hear more about it. I have you on LinkedIn and on Facebook. And are those the two best places for people to find you then?
It's a good place to go and read about me, but it's outdated information. A lot of it talks about my former career as a business coach and seminar leader and an international speaker. The best thing is to email me, Brad at bradwarren.com. It's just my name. I lucked out when I got it 25 years ago or whenever, when the internet was very young and just getting started and email was just getting started. I said, I'm an old guy now. I'm going to be 75 in a couple of weeks. And I wanted to make sure that I always remembered my email address. So Brad at bradwarren.com. I'm not going to forget. As long as I remember my own name, I won't forget my email. Brad at bradwarren.com. You email me usually within 24 hours, even if I'm on vacation, because I check emails when I'm on vacation. I don't do a lot with them, but at least I check them. I'll get back to you, and then we'll talk via Zoom, and we'll figure out the best step. Usually it's they send me an email, and I just send them a link to a presentation that Marcella is about to do, and then they can watch her and they can learn more, and then I'll talk to them after they've watched it. So yeah, get a hold of me that way. That's the best.
That's amazing. Yeah, if anyone's wanting to have some more money in their pocket at the end of the day and build some wealth through buying dirt, which is absolutely amazing, Brad is your guy. And I'm going to put all of your contact information in the show notes too for anybody who wants to grab it.
Great. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay.
That's a wrap on this episode of Real Estate Real Talk. Whether you're an agent building your business or a buyer or seller trying to get the real story, thanks for being here. If this episode gave you clarity, confidence, or just something to talk about, I'd love for you to follow, rate, and share the show. It helps more people find these conversations. If you have questions or want to connect, head over to SkyleighMcCallum.com or come hang out with me on Instagram. Thanks for listening, and I hope you catch the next episode on Real Estate Real Talk.